Well, it's Thursday. You know that means trouble, right? Especially for our live stream. It never fails. It's one of those days that Dan finds himself in a hurry. Things are going on. I've got to get here. I've got to get there. Came in this morning, had to change. It's Thursday, or as I like to refer to it, the fourth Monday of the week. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for stopping by. Don't know how long you can be here. I've only got about 10 minutes this morning in between things that are happening, meetings, appointments, other issues that are going on. But I still wanted to just spend a couple of times with you. Yeah, I almost feel like I've deserted you if I'm not here when I'm at home, because that was kind of the promise from the beginning. If I was at my home and I had the time, then we'd spend a couple of minutes together talking about things that are happening in our community and our neighborhood. This morning, no exception. You want to shout hello to us? You certainly can. We love hearing from everybody, where you're watching, what's on your mind. You want to give us a like? Of course, that's very much appreciated as well. And if you have a question or comment, go to the same place. The comment section here on Facebook is the place to go. You can talk to each other. You can talk to me. And again, if I don't see it or don't get to it during our live stream, especially with a short day like today, believe me, I'm reading them. I know what your interests are, and I promise I'm going to try to cater to those as much as I possibly can as far as covering things. I want to start things off real quick this morning. I'm not sure where you stand. Should we be playing sports? Sports really have a place in the COVID world, in a pandemic world? And opinions can vary, right from, oh, no, absolutely not. Worst thing that could happen, to people who say, look, life goes on. If you can figure out how to do it without it affecting other people and without it becoming a medical problem, maybe so. Take a look. NBA, in a bubble. They have all their players, 343 of them. They're all in one town in Orlando. They're all playing inside. They can't leave. They can't go outside the premises, but they set it up. They have restaurants. They have entertainment, but all the players are inside. It's not a physical bubble, but it's just the bubble, the idea of a circle, right? They're inside that circle. They have not had one positive COVID-19 come back since they started. Did it before they started, did it now. National Hockey League, same thing. All teams in one place, playing at one place, have not had any issue. Major League Baseball, a wreck. They've tried to play in different cities, go different places outside of a bubble. Several teams have had large outbreaks or significant outbreaks. And of course, the NFL is coming up. College football. Will there be a college football season? All depends on who you ask. Good story this morning. This one in the New York Times, but you can find them everywhere. Headline: cancellation, opt-outs, and virus cases put heat on college football. Already, look, University of Connecticut canceling its football season. NCAA canceled Division II and Division III of fall football. Lamar University scheduled to open their practices today. Delayed them because everyone's waiting. If they're going to delay 2 and 3, will they delay Division 1, or is it just too much money on the table that they just can't not play because of the financial ramifications? Got any thoughts on that this morning? You're welcome to weigh in. One of those things I think you need to be watching. We all should be watching to see if this happens. And of course, you have high school football practices underway here in Southeast Texas. We've already had 2 high schools that have told us that they have had positive tests among their players. Right? All right. We'll get into that. But what we're also going to get in this abbreviated version of Dan's At Home Update is we're going to talk a little bit about testing in America. And should we have a different philosophy about why we test and how we test? Plus, of course, we'll also get you caught up on the headlines. All that coming up on this Thursday edition of Dan's At Home Update. Again, welcome back. It is a Thursday edition of the update. We appreciate your coming into our house this morning and inviting us into yours. We'll look at some of the comments that you have, some of the things that are going on this morning, but I want to jump straight because of the time constraints this morning to KFDM.com, show you the stories that I would consider to be the top stories of the day. One being that the Jefferson County Jail is very, very short-staffed. In fact, look at this story. They have 30 employees who have tested positive for COVID. And when that happens, what do? Well, they go home. They're quarantined. They can't come to work. So Zena Stevens, the sheriff, says, there's not much I can do in this situation, but try to do my best to keep people separated, sanitize, deep clean, provide the best equipment that I possibly can. But they have a serious issue inside the Jefferson County Jail. It's not that they don't know. It's just a question of how do you deal with it. Also, the Port Arthur mayor. You can say what you want. Thurman Bartee has been out in front of this since the beginning. I mean, he has made his position very clear. Whether you agree with him or not, he has been out front of where he wanted to be. He kept saying, I think this is all opening too quick. I think we should be talking more about masks and social distancing. And now maybe that's coming true in his city where there are nearly 800 coronavirus positive cases. Of course, that goes back to the beginning. And as we said ever since, it's not about how many cases you have. It's about hospitalization. It's about deaths. They've had 15 deaths in Port Arthur. But the mayor back out in front yesterday holding a press conference saying he wants his residents to take a pledge to say that they're willing to do what it takes to stop this thing. That's, to step up and stop. All right. So if you want to know more, you can certainly go and read these stories. As I said, I'm short on time today. I don't have much, but I want to point out the stories that are probably of the most importance to you. Also, if you want to go and get tested, Port Arthur residents still do that free today. It is going on at the, I believe, at the college there. As a matter of fact, you can go in. You can find out more information again at our website. It's at the Carl Parker Center. But you can find out more by going to our website, kfdm.com. All right. So again, a good place to start. Now, what I also want to talk about today is testing. What are we doing? From the very beginning, it has been an issue, has it not? That A, there's not enough tests to go around. B, we don't have enough swabs. They're not. And then it became the malaise that it is now, that you can go and get tested, but you may not know the results of your test for days. And then there are other people who are saying, well, what even if I get tested, what's the point? If I get tested today and 2 days later I'm exposed and then what's the point? I want to show you and I want to take you to this article. I want to encourage you to go and read this on your own. I'll do the research. I'll find the stories. I'll share them with you. But I'm not going to spoon feed you because I believe that's your responsibility. This is from Harvard Magazine. Harvard Magazine. Byline is by Jonathan Shaw. The headline says, Failing the Coronavirus Testing Test. The photo is of Michael Mina. Michael Mina is an assistant professor of epidemiology at both Harvard Medical School and at Harvard School of Public Health. What he does, he is an expert in viral testing protocols. All right? And he says at the moment, the United States has no semblance of public health testing. Current tests for the active infection are highly sensitive, but are given to suspected COVID-19 patients long after the infected person has stopped transmitting the virus to others. That means the results are virtually useless for public health efforts to contain the pandemic. They are called PCR tests, and they are, yes, they're clinical tests. And his point, and I'm going to let you go read this, but Dr. Mina's point is, we do not need clinical testing at this point. We are so far behind that. If you really want to control an outbreak, isn't what we really need to know is who's got it and who doesn't? And if the tests are not affordable, which is what he is suggesting, that there could be tests that would take 15 minutes and cost $1. He says the technology is available today. He says the problem is we're clogging all this testing up, the infrastructure of testing, with trying to find people who haven't been transmitting for days. We should be using these $1 paper tests that every single American could do at their home every single day. And you could go, okay, I'm good for work, I'm not good for work. He says there are companies that are already out there. The problem is, as always, we'd rather spend billions of dollars on things that may not be effective than, and why? Well, part of the problem is, well, we can't do that because, the PCR test is the standard. It's the gold standard. Now, these other tests, these $1 tests may not be as accurate, but his contention is they don't have to be. What you're trying to find is who's actively shedding or spreading the virus. And if they're 80% accurate, it would be better than tests that don't come back for days. He said these will turn positive. You'll know within hours. Employers could buy these, hand them out to their employees every day before you come to work. You must pass this test. $1. The problem, the Dr. Mina says, is manufacturers can't meet the FDA standards to be as sensitive as this PCR test. And he says, great for clinical diagnosis, but for real public health testing and for people to know what they really want to know is, am I standing next to somebody? Should I be concerned? Should I be concerned about taking it home? Again, I'm not going to read this whole story to you, but again, it's the Harvard. All you have to do is Google Harvard Magazine or just go to harvardmagazine.com, and it's one of their headlines, Failing the Coronavirus Testing Test. How much of a mess is our testing system right now? How about this story? Houston Chronicle. Woman in Spring gets a $3,000 insurance bill for a 3-minute COVID test that she went to take. Now you can say, oh, well, the insurance will pay for it. But that's not the point. The point is it just shows how upside down things have gotten. Where are we going? What's the point of having testing? If I can get tested today and then get infected tomorrow, what good is a test that's days old? Again, I'm just going to encourage you to go to read that. I think it's one of those stories that will open your eyes and give you a different perspective about where we should be, what we should be doing. And the only way that things change in this world that we live in today is by vocal citizens, people who speak up, people who read stories like this, find out more about it, and then start calling people, start asking questions, start supporting people that maybe have a new idea or a different take. Just saying. All right, I'm sorry. I've pretty much run it to the end. I'm at 15 minutes away from another appointment, so I'm going to have to go this morning. I appreciate the time. Let me just a couple of shout outs. You made the effort this morning. Let me see who's up with us. Shirley Jones, hi to you. Jennifer's here this morning. Christina, Carlene is here this morning. Mary Wofford, Stacy, good morning to you. Hi Tammy, always good to see you here with us this morning. Erlene, good to see you there in Port Neches this morning as well. Did you guys know that John Wayne watches Dan's At Home Update? And also this morning, does anybody, Tracy says, does anybody know what the police choppers were searching for at 12 a.m. this morning in Lumberton, Texas? I do not, but I will ask some folks that might know. Jeannie, good morning to our Jeanette. Good morning to you. Eileen, thanks for doing it. Okay, I do want to mention this again too. You know that you can do this. If you haven't, I'm going to do it real quick and I'll show you exactly how you can do it. Anytime there is a power outage and you're wondering what's going on, you may have the notifications, but you want more than that, go to Entergy outage map on Google. And it says view outages in your area. You simply go down to Entergy Texas. You can access it on your web, at home. And then you can zoom in and you'll see at last night, the height of the storms that rolled through last night, they had something like 6,000 people without power. Every one of those purple spots, 1 to 50 customers without power. And then all of the red area you see there and all of the red area you see there, which stretches, as you can see, down south of Beaumont, that's all power out. So, and if you click on these blue dots, it will give you an estimate of time of restoration. We're talking about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So if you know folks who are in those red areas or the purple dots, you might want to reach out to them, offer them a cool place to stay today, because it may be a long day if you don't have AC and we start getting into the mid-90s. And what an easy way to help out, right? Just call and go, hey, you know what? You want to come have lunch at my house? Yeah, we can socially distance. We can live life. We can live life safely, smartly. Again, coronavirus is not going away. So we've got to learn how to be smart enough to survive it, right? All right. And it's lowering the risk. You're never going to eliminate it 100%. We all know that. You just kind of have to, it's like everything else in life, reduce the risk the best you can. All right. Any likes would be appreciated. Again, I'll look forward to having a little more time with you tomorrow. Want to remind you too real quickly that there are several ways you can catch up with us. Facebook here at KFDM News, Twitter, Morning TV Dan. Also YouTube, I have a page there. It's Dan at Home. If you miss one of these or you want to share it with somebody, you can certainly do it that way too. All right. So again, thank you for your time. As always, I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. Until then, again, go out, live safe, live smart. We'll see you soon.